we've got a brand new patch that just dropped, packed with tons of content, including new Illuminate Enemies, custom weapons, buffs, bug fixes. Not only that, there's so much more, including a superstore upgrade. And yeah, I think you're all going to absolutely love this update. If you could show some love by hitting the like button below, I'd greatly appreciate it, and let's jump right in. First and foremost, I'd like to say that I'll have an in-depth guide later on about the new enemies and custom weapons, but this video will primarily cover the changes and content in the recent patch. If you'd like to stay up to date with my videos, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss out on the next video today, because it's going to be well worth watching. With that said, let's start with the new enemy types and aircraft. Yes, that's right. The Illuminate will now attack from the skies with their new jet fighters called Stingrays, which can perform strafing runs on Helldivers. And to be fair here, I can't say I'm surprised, as I wouldn't expect anything less from a bunch of copycat squids who do anything to mimic our arsenal. These deadly jet fighters are dangerous, and if you don't pay attention to what's happening, you can easily be taken out without warning. Besides that, there's a new Illuminate Overseer called the Crescent Overseer, which can send barrages while we're behind cover or roaming around. And you know what? I'm gonna say it again here. These squids have been studying us, and they're trying to copy everything we've got to undermine democracy. It's easy to see they've been doing so. However, on the other hand, I will say they've chosen a creative, dark, and twisted path. Remember the video I showcased yesterday of the large Illuminate rampaging down the street? Well, that thing is called a Fleshmob, where the Illuminate have combined different parts of the Volus into one massive creature that can rush towards Helldivers and deliver deadly heavy hits. Now, backtracking a bit, we talked about the new aircraft known as the Stingray, right? There also appear to be larger ships out in space that we currently don't know much about. For example, the developers wrote, "There have been sightings of other, even larger ships, though details remain unclear on their abilities, but we can't underestimate the squids, divers, and that's why we're assembling our best and brightest to push them back into oblivion where they belong." Alrighty, once we find out more about these new larger ships, I'll be sure to keep you all in the loop on what's going on there, because it sounds like something to worry about, and who knows what the squids have planned up their sleeves. Continuing forward, we've got customizable weapons. Yes, finally weapons we can customize. You can tell there are different attachments we can equip, such as underbarrel options, including a laser sight with a flashlight, vertical foregrip, angled foregrip, flashlight with a vertical foregrip, or laser sight with an angle foregrip. That's not all. You can also change muzzles, like attaching a muzzle brake or flash hider. There are other options to adjust magazines for larger ammo capacities, swap out scopes, and just so much more. Plus, you can add patterns to your weapons, making them look way cooler on the field. If you're wondering, yeah, unfortunately, we can only customize primary weapons. Secondaries, on the other hand, are not included, which isn't a big issue or a deal breaker. I'm just thrilled we finally got custom weapons. Maybe at some point down the road, the developers will give us the option to customize secondaries too. Also, to unlock the other options here for your muzzles and so on, you can do that by completing missions. Here's what the developers wrote in the PlayStation blog. Helldivers are being given access to a robust new weapon customization feature for the bulk of our primary weapon offerings. Most primary weapons now have levels that are achievable by completing missions, which then in turn unlock new attachments obtainable through requisition. In addition to attachments, players can also unlock patterns for their weapons. Yep, so there appears to be some new weapons and patterns and attachments, and all this you can unlock right here, and you can see all of the details and all the things right here on screen. And you know what else I'm absolutely excited about? The new Superstore. We can now buy all the armors without waiting for the Superstore to refresh. Yes, no more waiting for the armor you really want, no fear of missing out, it's all right there. You have a huge selection to choose from, and I'm gonna have to spend my super credits wisely. We're now going to talk about the patch notes. First up, melee combat just got a whole lot smoother. All melee weapons like the QCQ 30 Stun Baton, QCQ 19 Stun Lance, CQC 5 Combat Hatchet, and the Entrenchment Tool now use half of the stamina per attack, dropping from 0.1 to 0.05. This means you can swing away without grasping for air, making it way easier to reposition and keep the pressure on the Terminates, Automatons, and even the Squid Scum. I can already picture myself hacking through a horde without breaking a sweat. Now let's talk about explosions, because the Shrapnel Changes are great. Weapons like the R36 Eruptor, G6 Frag Grenade, and AC-8 Autocannon are getting the Shrapnel overhaul. Shrapnel now spreads in a full 360-degree blast no matter where the explosion happens, so you're more likely to nail your target with the Eruptor's deadly shards, and the Frag Grenades are spawning 35 shrapnel pieces instead of 30, and the Autocannon flak is up to 30 from 25. That's more boom for your buck, basically. But heads up, Shrapnel's less effective against armors at bad angles, and its armor penetration has been tweaked. But overall, not a bad change. Now, fire damage on the other hand, the devs have revamped flamethrowers and burn effects to scale with the enemy size. Bigger enemies like chargers take more burn damage over time, but they're harder to set ablaze. Direct fire hits also have a scale here because smaller enemies take slightly less damage now. The Flam 66 Torture and Flam 40 Flamethrower got a magazine capacity boost, 25% more for the Torture and 30% more for the Flamethrower, because torching everything is just too much fun, right? Robotic enemies are tougher to ignite, and that makes sense because, you know, they're made out of metal. And the incendiary ammo and lasers are less likely to start fires on those enemies. But when they do, the burn hits harder. Oh, and good news, us Helldivers are a bit more resistant to catching fire, though burn damage stays the same. Continuing forward, primary weapons are getting some love too. The AR-23 Liberator, STA-52 Assault Rifle, and others, as you can tell, have reduced spread from tighter shots, with the AR-61 Tenderizer dropping from 4 to 1 with some pinpoint accuracy there. The AR-23P Liberator Penetrator gets an extra starter magazine and 2 more spares, so you're loaded for bear, right? SMGs like the SMG-37 Defender and the SMG-72 Pummeler have drastically reduced spread, 20 to 5, though drag and sway are up slightly for balance. The R36 Eruptor is a beast now with better spread, ergonomics, sway, and a fire rate bump from 25 to 32. Plus a fix for that reload exploit to keep things fair. Now, if you don't know what the exploit was, it allowed you to skip the reload animation and reload almost instantly, letting you fire right away. The Plas-39 Accelerator Rifle drag is way down, making it hit harder at range, and it now is an energy weapon in the loadout. So some great changes there. We also have some sidearm changes as well. The GP31 Ultimate Explosion damage doubles from 1000 to 2000, though its projectile damage drops, shifting it to basically an explosive powerhouse right now. It now kills mostly all heavy enemies like it did before, but it's gonna do way more damage than it was previously, as you can tell. But it won't destroy shield, stratagem jammers, or landed Illuminate warp ships anymore, though it can take out dropships once shields are down. The P2 Peacemaker, P19 Redeemer, and the P113 Verdict have tighter spreads, and most sidearms have slightly increased weight for balance. The GP31 Grenade Pistol and others are feeling snappier, and man, I'm loving the way they changed all this stuff here. Moving along, stratagems and support weapons are getting tweaks too. The railgun spread is near 0 now, from 10 to 0.1, making it way more precise. The Lift 850 jump pack has more brake force on landings, so you won't ragdoll like previously. Eagle rockets get a staggering armor penetration boost, perfect for knocking back those automaton hordes. Speaking of automatons, their bunker turret spread is up. Configurations on the Devastator pellets are weaker now, so it won't set you on fire so quickly. It takes time. And gunships have less armor, but more health and better aim. Terminate Spore Spewers are easier to kill with heavies, and Illuminate warp ships are now more vulnerable to anti-tank weapons once the shields are down. Even troopers now reload properly instead of after every shot. Overall, some nice fixes. So now, what about crash fixes? Did they do anything there with soft locks and crashes? Yeah, absolutely. So if you were parked, with your super destroyer on a planet, you would probably crash, right? Well, that's now been resolved, especially with the Democracy Space Station in orbit. They also fixed a crash when you were texting. They also fixed another crash where, I guess with the Automaton convoy, and even when dropping into missions. They also noted here that the SMG-37 Defender does not trigger the anti-tank mines anymore. They fixed a bunch of issues, and I'll show them all on the screen here. They also fixed a mission with Retrieve Recon Craft intel missions. You know, when you would pick it up and it would kind of get stuck in holes or inaccessible areas, that's been resolved. And they fixed a ton of issues here. So overall, not a bad patch. I mean, this whole entire patch looks pretty awesome. I'd love to hear your opinions and your thoughts on this. What do you guys think? Good patch? Bad patch? Let me know. Also, just in case you missed the recent live stream, this is what happened. Yeah, that was kind of spooky, but yeah, just a lot of cool stuff today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the video. We're now going to go over the top 3 comments. The first top comment is from But First He Lit It On Fire, and you suggested that the devs make it so that Expert Extraction Pilot Booster is always on wherever the DSS is, and I think that's an excellent idea. It makes sense too because it's a democracy space station, so why not? And yeah, I think this is absolutely a great idea. The second top comment is from Shadow Wolf 3419. The new Illuminate unit is a ghoul, which is a fully transformed Volus. This acts as a large berserk unit that appears slightly larger. There is a leaked rendition of it from Ironsides forever ago. And it turns out they changed the name, I guess. It's no longer that, it's actually a Fleshmob. The third and final comment is by PR_Spectre. Since you can see Meridian in the background on Station 81, wonder if by the time it'll get closer or not. I'm still intrigued on what might happen. And if you've missed it, we already know what happened. Things are going crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, consider tapping the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And for everyone out there that said weapon customization wasn't coming, you better subscribe to me. I saw some comments, previously when someone said, hey, that trailer that Sony showcased is not happening. They're not going to have any customization. Well, guess who was right and who was wrong. Anyways, thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.